But people are gonna say, oh, it's for the money. You fucking idiots. Like, bro, it's prize fighting for a reason. Like, what the
Meanwhile, Gervonta is laser-focused on his fight with Lomachenko in November and plans to go after Shakur Stevenson next. With call-outs and threats made by both sides over the years, it may be sooner than later that we see this fight finally seeing the light of the day. But recently, things got a little out of hand as both Tank and Shakur ended up in a brawl after taking jabs at one another.
Artem Harutunian.
Stevenson came out after this confrontation and made his official statement labeling Gervonta as nothing too good and just a casual player. He took shots at him saying how he is not as great of a boxer as he thinks himself to be. He stated, "Tank is casual. We've got to be honest. You can be a special boxer, but not really have the boxing knowledge." He fought Rolly Romero and Isaac Cruz. When they fought each other, he picked Rolly to win because of power. That's a casual opinion. Gervonta Davies is a good fighter, but he's a casual. He's going to say what casuals say. On the other hand, Teofimo is also keeping an eye out for the upcoming fights that Gervonta has with Lomachenko and Shakur. Commenting on the big fight between Tank and Loma, Teo stated that Tank may not be as confident as he usually is going into this fight, as Loma is a formidable opponent with a tremendous skill set. He said, "I believe that Tank will be nervous going into the fight. Loma will show his skill set, and Tank will try to walk him down. Loma needs to go for the body. Tank will try to hurt him by headhunting, throwing his favorite shot that he likes to throw, his left hand." Having faced Lomachenko in the past, Teo believes that he is not at the same level as he used to be, which is something Gervonta will most certainly take advantage of. However, according to Teo, if Gervonta fights as he did against Frank with a low punch count, then Loma has a clear shot of winning. He added, "I love Loma, man. I mean, he was a tough fighter when I faced him. I'll say that. However, I just feel like he's not the same as he once was. But with the punch count that Tank showed against Frank Martin, he was losing every round. He was just waiting for that one big shot moment. If he fights like that, Loma wins." Along with Tank for a long time, Teofimo has set his eyes on the fight with Terence Crawford and Isaac Cruz, and wishes for a fight to be scheduled soon, as after his recent win, he has proved to everyone that he is not someone to take lightly, showing his excitement right after winning. Teofimo called out Pitbull Cruz and Bud Crawford to face him in the future.
though, these are the type of fights that I want, but like no one's gonna fight like Steve Claggett. There's only one other fighter that maybe might do it just a little bit, and he's smaller, and that's Pitbull, Isaac Cruz. But other than that, every other fighter you could think of don't fight that way at all. They all box. Crawford boxes, whether it's orthodox, whether it's freaking southpaw, he boxes. He doesn't really slug in there.
Going back to the 12-round fight on the 29th of June between Teofimo Lopez and Steve Claggett, which Teofimo ended up winning, many fans and pros have mixed reviews about the whole fight, with some calling it a good victory for Teofimo, while others calling it a lackluster performance from either side, especially from someone who is a world champion. Dan Rafael took to his Twitter to express his views, saying that this was not the big fight that everyone was expecting, especially after all the hype generated by Lopez's camp and the constant knockout threats that were made by Teofimo and his father Lopez SR. Dan wrote, "It is pretty clear that Teofimo's power is not the same at 140 as it was at 135. Previously, Dan has also expressed his disappointment on the choice of the opponent made by Team Lopez. According to Dan, out of the 4 names that were shown to Teofimo's team, choosing Steve was not a wise move on their behalf, as it did not appease the audience as it should have, because they were expecting a bigger fight."
Offered Team Teofimo 4 different opponents to make this fight. One of them obviously was Steve Claggett, who they selected. But in my opinion, the other 3 opponents that he was offered would have, in my mind, been bigger names and better fights in terms of what the public might expect.
Shakur Stevenson also gave his take on the fight, calling it beneath Teo's level. According to Shakur, it is still a mystery how a world champion and a boxer like Teofimo chose to fight someone who is a D-level fighter at best with a mediocre record and 7 losses. Throwing shade at Teofimo, Shakur said, "Damn, I never even fought a dude with 7 losses in my entire career. That's crazy." Chris Algieri also had the same idea as many other pros and fans about how this was not the best performance given by Teofimo, even though this time the opponent was handpicked by him. And even after that, he was not able to get a knockout that many fans were looking forward to. Still, despite not giving a great stellar performance, Chris appreciated Steve for his performance and durability against someone like Teofimo. He stated, "He's talking about going to 147, which I don't really advise because he hasn't shown that same power that he had at 135 at 140. So he's 5-0 now at 140, he's only got 1 KO, and that was against Pedro Campa early on. Even that was more of an attrition than a single shot. But it looks like not everyone is bummed out by this performance, as Teofimo himself expressed his gratitude to everyone who was involved in this fight, and even those who have had conflicting views about him. Just after he was announced as the winner, Teofimo went to hug Bob Arum, a notable boxing promoter and CEO of Top Rank, to show his respect towards the old veteran.
Guys, not right now. Big fight, bro.
While talking about this interaction to the press, Teofimo explained that when he met Bob Arum, he did not look too happy about his performance and commented on it. But not taking it to heart, Teo stated that according to him, it was a good performance, and he is not going to be belittled by anyone. He even stated how Bob should be happy that he has signed with his company, because he is the only one there who brings good numbers. He said, "You know Bob, Arum, said I did well. He doesn't look too happy. Fuck it, I don't care. Like, I'm your only last star available at Top Rank. You just gotta deal with it." Just like his son, Lopez SR also thought that it was a good fight, regardless of people not agreeing to it. Commenting on the performance of both boxers, Lopez SR stated that it was always clear to them they would ultimately win, as in every round Teofimo remained dominant, but still despite all this, according to Lopez, Steve showed great durability and strength till the last round. He said, "The body shots were there, all the punches were there. I can't take anything away from him. He did an amazing job and we won every round. I didn't see this guy Claggett winning any round in there, and the scorecard says by itself what a great performance he did." Not listening to any of these comments, and after finally getting this much anticipated win and defending his WBO and Ring Magazine 140-pound title, it is no wonder that Teofimo is now looking for the next big fight with notable names in the boxing industry. Being the brash talker he is, Teofimo calls out Tank right after his win, saying that he is ready to fight him anytime, and he is the one who has faced all types of superior fighters, while Gervonta only goes out to fight chumps.
Well, yeah, I'm there, man. You know what I'm saying? Tank, whatever the case is, they haven't faced fighters like this in a long time. Isaac Cruz was the only one and gave him all the way to 12 rounds, and a lot of people felt like he lost. So for that essence, man, I just think like, hey, Tank, whatever the case be, I love the way it is. Like, God makes me sometimes look subpar if that has to be that case, so these other chumps could come in and jump in the gun.
Now, this is not the first time Teofimo has called out Gervonta or mentioned his name for a potential fight. Just a few days before he was to face Steve Claggett, Teofimo gave an explosive interview to the Danza Project, making an appearance after a long time. In this interview, the most talked about part was definitely when Teofimo stated that Gervonta is too much of a coward to face him in the ring, despite many call-outs being given from his side. He said, "Gervonta, they got him. He ain't gonna fight me. To fight me." He went on to explain his reasons behind the comment, stating that he thinks that it has the potential to become a good fight as they both have the same style, speed, and techniques. But Gervonta seems to hesitate because he is not used to fighting hardened fighters. According to Teofimo, Tank is someone who has been coddled by the community, making him soft, while on the other hand, fighters like himself have to earn a spot by continued hard work. He said, "Both Gervonta and I have speed, power, and boxing IQ, but I wasn't handed any of this. I'm the real deal. I don't wipe away blood when I'm bleeding. I fight," and he whines. In this interview, Teofimo also brought up another past drama where allegedly he sparred with Gervonta when he was only 15 years old. And in that sparring, he realized that Gervonta is not the strong fighter that he claims to be, as after getting hit, all he did was complain and whine about the whole thing. Recalling this match, Teofimo stated, "When we spared, he hit me on the nose and hurt his hand. He was like, 'Oh damn, I was 15 and he was 18. As soon as this interview was released, a media storm started with fans and pros looking at Gervonta for his reaction, and if he is going to take up this offer made by Teo, but unfortunately for them, got no response back. However, a few months back, he did make a mysterious comment about the whole situation surrounding Teofimo, and people calling him weak and soft, writing that he is aware of the entire ordeal, and he too has his eyes on Teofimo. In his tweet, he wrote, "Don't worry, I'm hitting right on his shit soon. I see him and he didn't even know. Teofimo SR, just like his son, has also come to his son's defense saying how he is not someone who should be taken lightly by all these fighters, as time and time again, he has proved that he is the greatest in his division. He also went on to say that way back when Teo sparred with Gervonta, he and Teo were able to figure out his weak point. According to Lopez SR, Gervonta is someone who is scared to get in the ring and fight against someone who knows how to move around and box. He then emphasized that Tank heavily relies on his left hand to hit his opponents while not having any noteworthy boxing technique. Teofimo SR said, "My son has already faced Tank when he was only 15, and Tank was about 30 pounds bigger than him, when they spared. My son did really well with him. The way to beat Tank is that you gotta box him. Tank is scared of a boxer. He is scared of guys who know how to box." Staying firm on his claims, Lopez has also mentioned how this fight should be scheduled as soon as possible, as not only the fans have been waiting for this to take place, but there are many other technicalities as well, including Teofimo not staying the 140 weight division for too long, especially after his win, and his plan to go after Crawford. While also saying the same about Gervonta, Lopez thinks that soon, Gervonta might not be available to fight at 140. He said, "He's a young fighter, just 26 years old, and he's gotta move up. I don't know how long he's going to stay in this weight division at 140, and I think this is a fight that could be made. Tank Davis has fought at 140 before, so I think we can make the fight happen at 140, but he's not going to stay there too long, so this fight got to be made as soon as possible." With this in mind, Lopez still thinks that Teofimo can beat Gervonta since he has great power and wonderful boxing skills that Tank does not have, no matter how hard he tries to tell people otherwise.
One thing about the sport, you have to have a chin and you gotta have power. My son's never been wobbled in his whole career, not even in the amateurs, not even in sparring. So, Tank doesn't have that X factor to beat my son in power. So, and my son got way better skills in boxing. So, and he could punch.
With the atmosphere already heated up, Teofimo came out with more backhanded comments about Gervonta just a few days ago. While on the subject of who he will be fighting in the future and how he sees his record so far, Teofimo sarcastically commented on how despite people undermining him, he is still the one who is getting big fights like the one with Lomachenko. However, some fighters like Gervonta are still fighting beat-up boxers while being in the prime.
We never dodged nobody. I asked them since I started in my professional career. Asked them. Never, not once. That's why they gave me Lomachenko in my 16th pro fight. Who else does that? These guys are in their 30th pro fight, still fighting Frank Martins and freaking washed up, washed up Linares.
Still wanting to clear his views on this potential fight, Teo stated how he wants to fight Gervonta at any time and anywhere because, as he has said countless times before, this will be a great and profitable fight for both of them. He then added that how most fans and critics do not understand at the end of the day, this whole sport is about making money and earning prizes. So the argument that he is only urging this fight to earn money is ridiculous. Teofimo stated, "Yeah, I am excited to fight Tank, but people are gonna say, oh, it's for the money, you fucking idiots. Like, bro, it's prize fighting for a reason. Y'all don't understand boxing or what it's like. Oh, he's scared of Tank, then he wants to fight Tank. Oh, he wants the money. Make up your mind, bro." Despite Teofimo and his team making all these call-outs, Gervonta is on his mission to go against some of the best names in boxing. With the bout between him and Lomachenko now confirmed to take place in November, the 29-year-old is at an all-time high. With solid win after win, Gervonta has now become the top dog in the lightweight division and the main contender for everyone. Known for his aggressive style and hard-hitting left hand, when it comes to knocking his opponents out, no one does it better than Gervonta, and this is something even his rivals have no problem admitting, including Frank Martin, who has come out recently to praise his past rival, stating that Gervonta is someone who has immaculate timing, along with tremendous power, and knows how to land his punches. According to Frank, Gervonta is also someone who knows how to adapt no matter who is in front of him. So knowing all this, it can be concluded that Tank may not be as easy to defeat as Teofimo thinks. Frank said, "He got power. He does a great job landing that shot, hitting guys on the button and just getting them out of there because he's an accurate puncher and he knows how to land that shot." He further added, "He's got good traps that I got caught with. We knew it could happen. He can box, he can punch, he's adaptable, and I feel he can adapt to a lot of different styles." But despite this announcement of Tank versus Lomachenko, many fans are disappointed because they were hoping that the next fight fight would be between Shakur and Gervonta, as they both are young and in their prime, whereas Lomachenko is a much older fighter who is almost past his prime. Disappointed with development, even Shakur Stevenson himself has expressed how this is not the right move at this stage, and he feels like he is being avoided despite being the best match for Gervonta. Shakur went on to criticize the authorities for being biased toward one fighter just for the reason that they did not want him to have all these high-class fights.
Yeah, come on. I mean, it's pretty obvious that I'm being avoided. I'm the guy that nobody wants to fight. Like, with all due respect to all of these other fighters, but it's been too many people that done turned down to fight with me. And honestly, I feel as though the biased fans and the biased people are giving these people a pass just because they don't like me, but they're not being real with themselves and being truthful about the situation. And
sharing the same sentiment, Tim Bradley has expressed his view on the whole situation where Tank is now going to fight Lomachenko instead of Shakur, stating that this feels as if Tank is running away from a match against Shakur. Tim also emphasized that Shakur is someone who is very much undermined and is appreciated by his contemporaries, as he should be. Tim stated, "Shakur is a fantastic fighter, man. You know, one of the most unappreciated fighters in the game. Tank is the most beloved. They love him because of the power. They love him because of who he is." Giving his analysis of the Lomachenko fight, Tim thinks that this will be a fight where it all comes down to the strategy that Gervonta uses, because Lomachenko, despite his age, has great skills and knows how to corner his opponent. According to Tim, the plan for Gervonta to win should involve him coming out with different types of jabs and not letting Lomachenko get ahead, because if he does, that Loma will corner him and easily beat him. Eddie Hearn, voicing the concern.
Catch him and knock him out, because as you can see, Loma can get ahead. If Tank pushes forward and he comes in, firing with combinations or coming in behind that jab, he can control Loma. But if he sits back and try to use that high guard and don't really have nothing in between, Loma's going to be able to push him back.
Eddie Hearn, voicing the concerns of many fans and pros, stated that Gervonta, though a great boxer and entertainer, is not good at winning rounds, which is something that can prove to be his downfall against someone like Lomachenko, who knows how to push around fighters. He said, "Tank is a good fighter, but Tank loses a lot of rounds, you know. Every fight that Tank's in, whether it's Isaac Cruz, whether it's Frank Martin, whether it's Ryan Garcia, he loses his rounds, and I think he's going to lose rounds against Lomachenko." But in the end, just like everyone, Eddie too believes that the fight that everyone wants and has been yearning for is the ultimate battle between Gervonta and Shakur, as they are two excellent young fighters in their prime. He said, "But you know, for me, the fight to make his Tank against Shakur Stevenson." So that's it for today, folks. Just like always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and make sure to tell us about your thoughts in the comments below.